Roland Wood. I wanted to address this issue of asylum seekers and refugees. Put this very briefly in context. For many years, I was a foreign correspondent with the Reuters news agency. I've seen more dead bodies than you can shake a funeral director at. Now, many of these people who come to this country for help are very, very vulnerable. And yet, what does this country do? It bangs them up in detention centres. I would like assurance from all of the candidates, even the one from UKIP, that this is going to stop. That when people come to this country, and they come to this country expecting help, they are going to get it.
There are going to be many questions tonight, so I would ask each person if they wish to respond to this. Some of you have already mentioned this topic in your introductory remarks, but you're all invited now to speak very briefly on this question of the treatment of asylum seekers.
I will. That's a fantastic question. Just so you're aware, and just to give you a bit of confidence with the Green Party, one of our policies is actually to ensure that those that are refugees coming to this country for asylum are treated with the utmost respect, and that means actually getting rid of detention centres and bringing them into the community, especially those that are victims of rape or murder, or whose families have been murdered in their countries back at home, and ensuring that they are an integral part of society. We shouldn't just shove them in some sort of corner of the country that we don't really care about. It's not about that. First and foremost, it should always be about humanity.
Yeah, I think there'll probably be unanimity on the panel. I mean, I'm not in favour of detention centres, and in an ideal world or an ideal country, we'll get to a point where we don't have them, don't need them. I can't give an assurance that that's something that a Labour government would necessarily do within the first term of a parliament. I hope it does. It's certainly something I care about and would push for. But yeah, it's a very valid point, and as I say, I think there will be probably unanimity around this. I would hope there is. Thanks for the question.
Yeah, thanks very much for the question. An excellent question. I'll just make a couple of points in addition to what's been said, with which I agree. I'm a director at the LGBT Centre of the road here in Leicester, and we had a situation which you might have read about in the Mercury recently, where someone came to our centre, someone who sought asylum here and who came to Leicester, who was a gay man, and who was told by the Home Office that if he wanted to stay here, he had to prove he was gay. Now, I don't entirely know what he was expected to do, but that was what he was told. That was what he was told by the Home Office, and it is funny in that sense, but this was a very serious situation for this individual that still hasn't been resolved. And I think, shame on Theresa May and the Home Office for that, and to the extent that my party has anything to do with that, and shame on them too. I'd just also add on one good plus point for my party though, and this is one of the reasons why, despite these past 4 years being difficult, I've stayed within the Lib Dems, is they did, it was a result of Lib Dem policy that the being able to detain children in such centres was stopped, and that's one Lib Dem achievement that I am proud of in this government.
I work in mental health in the NHS, and we see people with very vulnerable situations being treated awfully by the system in Britain. Very bureaucratic, having to report to centres every couple of weeks. They may have post-traumatic stress disorder. They often have severe mental health difficulties as a result of what they've been through, and they're simply not believed. And it's Home Office policy, I believe, simply not to reject cases, straight away, making them go to appeal. And actually, we're responsible, as I said in my introduction, for much of the situations overseas that they're coming here for. And actually the UK actually does not take its fair share of asylum seekers, and we are not living up to our responsibility on this in the slightest. It is not true that there are hordes of asylum seekers or refugees coming over here fraudulently trying to claim benefits or anything like that, as you might expect, might believe if you read the Daily Mail. And we would support the trade union right to work campaign for asylum seekers. I think it's scandalous that they're not actually allowed to actually contribute to the economy and actually allow themselves to be a part of society. We would scrap the card system whereby they're only allowed £35 a week and have to spend that at certain stores. I think the whole system is just completely biased against anyone coming to this country from abroad because it needs to claim asylum.
Thank you, Andrew. Lee, do you
Yeah. Thank you for the question there, Roland. It's right from the heart, that one was. Listen, the asylum seekers, they are asking us for help. And they've been in a war, or people like from Iraq or, you know, Nigeria at present, or anywhere like that. We have to help them, not slam them up in a detention centre, not slam them up in what is the posh word called a detention centre, quite frankly, the prisons. It needs to change, and I agree with you totally on your point. That's my personal view, as in UKIP's view, not 100% an outstanding on asylum seekers. My personal view is I would help them, and I would strive to help them. That's the best I can answer it for you. Sorry.
next question, please, Hamish.